Today I can get any hairstyle I want that works for my face shape and hair type. I have fine hair, but I still style my hair in 3 different ways with the same haircut. But 3 years ago, I didn't even know how to get a decent hairstyle that looked good on me. So here are 16 hairstyle lessons I wish I knew, and these will definitely help you get the perfect hairstyle you always dreamt of. Lesson number 1. When I first started trying to find my hairstyle, I made one big mistake. I only cared about my face shape. I would look at those charts online and think that was all I needed to know. So I would walk into the barbershop, ask for whatever the internet said should work, but it always had a hate ending because I ignored the other things that matter just as much, especially my hair density, hair type, forehead size, and skin tone. For example, I once tried a slick back undercut because it works well with my face shape, but my fine hair was flat, so it just stuck to my head and looked lifeless. It was hard to style and didn't stay in place. What actually worked better was a layered side part with some texture added. It gave my hair more shape and made it look fuller while still keeping it balanced and easy to manage. Your face shape is just one piece of the puzzle. Before you pick a style, ask yourself, is my hair thick or thin enough to pull this off? Does my hair type work with this cut? Will this hairstyle make my forehead look awkward? Is this hairstyle suitable for my skin tone and region? The right haircut is not just about face shape. It is about how all these factors come together for you. Lesson number 2. A lot of people think they need 5 or 6 different products, but the truth is that most hairstyles can be done with just 2 good ones. If you choose the right products and learn how to use them the right way, that's more than enough. You can start with a good pre-styler when styling your hair. This is something you put in your hair when it is still damp. A volumizing mousse or sea salt spray works great because it gives your hair some shape and texture. It helps your hair hold its style better and makes it easier to work with. Then, once your hair is dry and in place, use a strong finisher. This could be a matte clay, a pomade, or any styling product that holds everything together without making your hair too stiff or shiny. The goal is to lock in your look so it stays the way you styled it all day. Good technique and the right tools will always beat a shelf full of bottles you don't really need. Keep it simple and your hair will thank you. Lesson number 3. Many people think all barbers are the same, so they just go to the cheapest place they can find. But the truth is, not all barbers are equal, and a good one can make a huge difference. You might walk into a shop, show a picture of the hairstyle you want, explain everything clearly, and still walk out with a completely different hairstyle. It can be really disappointing. That's why finding a barber who understands your hair type, your style, and your needs is very important. Even if you have the perfect face shape, hair texture, and volume for a certain style, it won't look right if the barber doesn't have the skills to bring that look to life. So take time to try out different barbers until you find one you trust, and most importantly, who understands what you say. A cheap barber can work wonders if they just understands what you say. And once you find that, stick with them. Also, make sure to clearly communicate with your barber. Tell them exactly what you want. Even a skilled barber won't be able to give you your desired haircut if you don't communicate clearly. And remember, if a hairstyle doesn't look perfect the first time, it might not be the style. It might just need better execution. Be clear with your barber, stay patient, and give it time. Lesson number 4. And it works like this. When I first started caring about my hair, I asked everyone for advice. My friends, even random hair guru, and even my grandma, who still thinks my hair looked best in my 5th grade vowel cut. The problem is everyone had different opinions, and I kept changing my routine without giving anything enough time to work. One day, I decided to follow one hairdresser's advice for 3 months straight. No switching products and no drastic cuts. And guess what? My hair finally started looking better. The lesson I learned is to stop jumping between tips. Pick one person whose style you trust, a good barber or a grooming expert, and stick with their advice long enough to see real results. Lesson number 5. If your hair doesn't naturally lift or look full, don't worry. Instead of using a lot of styling creams, gels, or sprays that make your hair feel stiff and heavy, it is better to learn a few easy tricks. Natural volume always looks better than volume that is forced with too many products. So you can use a blow dryer and a round brush to give your hair a nice lift. After washing your hair, towel dry it gently until it is just damp. Then, using a round brush, lift sections of your hair upward, especially at the roots, and blow dry them from the roots to the ends while pulling upward with the brush. Use medium heat and and keep the nozzle pointed downward to control frizz. This technique gives your hair a soft lift and bounce that looks natural, not forced. Another simple way to get more volume is by changing where you part your hair. If you always part your hair the same way, that area can start to look flat over time. But if you switch sides or try a middle part, it changes how your hair falls and gives the illusion of more volume. This little change can make a big difference and give your hair a natural lift without causing any damage. Plus, changing your part helps prevent too much stress on the same area of your scalp, which is good for hair health in the long run. If you want to get these advices regularly, you must join my free email newsletter where I only talk about men hair grooming, different hairstyles, and anything that will help you out take closer to your hair potential. The link is in the description or in the first comment. Lesson number 6. One important thing that a lot of people forget about is taking care of their scalp. Most people focus only on the hair, but the scalp is where your hair grows from. So if your scalp is not healthy, your hair won't look its best either. Sometimes people think they're starting to go bald when really it is just buildup on the scalp. This buildup is a mix of oil, leftover hair products, dirt, and dead skin that blocks the hair follicles. When the follicles are blocked, the hair can't grow properly, and it may start to look thinner, flatter, and less healthy. Another myth is that hair gets used to a product. Many people believe that if something stops working, the hair must have adapted. But what usually happens is product buildup. Over time, residue can weigh the hair down and affect how the product works. In most cases, a simple clarifying shampoo once a week clears out buildup and brings your hair back to life. So don't just think of scalp care as something extra. It is actually a big part of hairstyling. A clean scalp gives your hair a better base to grow from, and that makes all your styles look better too. Lesson number 7. One of the most common mistakes I see is once people find their perfect hairstyle, they stick it for a lifetime. But that is the thing I never recommend to any person. When you are younger, you have nice hair density and your hairline is usually full and sits naturally across your forehead. But as you get older, you lose some of your hair density and your hairline also starts shifting back. This is what we call a receding hairline. It is a normal part of aging for many men, and it happens because their follicles shrink over time, leading to thinner hair and even some bald spots. Now, why does this matter for your hairstyle? Because a haircut that looked great on you at 18 might not work as well at 35 or 40. For example, if you used to style your hair in a slick back look, a deep side part, or a short fade with a defined hairline, those styles might now make your receding hairline more noticeable instead of hiding it. This is why it is important to adapt your hairstyle as you age. Some styles, like a messy textured cut, crew cut, or even growing out your hair slightly longer on top, can help create the illusion of a fuller head of hair. And if you're dealing with significant hair loss, buzz cuts might be the cleanest and most confident look. Lesson number 8, and it works like this. There comes a time when you start to care more about your hairstyle and want it to actually look good every day. That's usually when you should consider switching from going to a regular barber to seeing a hairdresser. A barber is great if you want quick and classic short haircuts. But if you're starting to grow your hair, trying new styles, or want more control over how it looks, a hairdresser can help you a lot more. They will guide you with the better styling tips, help you choose the right products, and shape your hair in a way that fits your face and style. This is when you stop thinking of it as just a haircut and start treating it like a hairstyle that shows who you are. Lesson number 9. Growing your hair is something a lot of people try, but many give up too soon. At first, it seems like a great idea, but once they hit the awkward stage where the hair doesn't look short or long and just feels messy, they lose patience and cut it off. This stage can be frustrating, but it's a normal part of the process. The truth is that growing long hair takes time, effort, and a clear plan. You can't just let your hair grow without doing anything to it. You will need regular trims to keep the ends healthy and prevent split ends. You might also need to change your hairstyle now and then to help it look good during the growing phase. Even small changes like cleaning up the sides or shaping the back can make a big difference and help you stay motivated. You can set small goals every few months. This way, you can focus on what your hair needs at each stage and make it through the awkward parts with confidence. Over time, your hair will grow into a length that looks intentional, clean, and stylish. Not like you're just growing it out with no direction. Lesson number 10, and you surely relate to this. I used to blindly copy celebrity hairstyles hairstyles without noticing how my hair actually behaved. Then I started paying attention, and it turns out my hair was giving me all the answers. I noticed my hair is straight to wavy, so I stopped trying to force it to be super straight. Instead, I chose a hairstyle that worked with my natural texture. Since my hair is fine, I also realized that some styles made it look flat or too thin, so I stayed away from anything that added extra weight or made it look even flatter. That small change made a big difference. Heavy pomades made my hair greasy, but lightweight creams brought out my waves just right, so I switched to lightweight products. When I noticed my hair looked best at 4 to 6 inches of length, I switched to a textured medium length cut instead of forcing a short style. Also, try air drying your hair for a week and note how it behaves. Notice it throughout the day. Does it lose volume? Does it get frizzy? How does your hair move? Where does it naturally part? And what makes it look best? Additionally, experiment with one new product like a mousse or texturizing spray and see how your hair reacts. You will start seeing patterns, and those patterns will guide you to the right hairstyle and the right products. Your hair is not difficult. It is just communicating with them. The more you listen, the easier it is to find styles that actually work for you. Lesson number 11. And I learned this the hard way. Once you find a perfect hairstyle, you cannot just set it and forget it. That's not how it works. Most hairstyles need regular upkeep, and if you're not ready to put in the time and effort, it'll start to look messy fast. For example, a clean undercut might look amazing right after a fresh cut, but within a week, it can start growing out and lose its shape. Without the right products or knowing how to style it, the hair can quickly look unkempt. That's why it is important to pick a hairstyle that matches your lifestyle. If you're not someone who enjoys spending a lot of time on hair, it is better to go for something low maintenance like a textured crop, crew cut, or a classic taper. These styles are easy to manage and still look sharp with minimal effort. Choosing the right hairstyle based on how much time you're willing to spend will save you a lot of frustration in the long run. Lesson number 12. I remember growing out my hair for the first time and being surprised at how different it looked. It completely changed the way my face looked, making it appear more structured and balanced. I had always stuck to short styles, thinking they were the safest options. But when I let my hair grow longer, I realized that styles like an 820 side part, a flow hairstyle, or even the middle part gave me a completely different look, one that actually suited me better. Most guys think that shorter hair is always better, or the other way around, but I always advise you not to be afraid to play around with different lengths. If you've always had short hair, try growing it out a little and experiment with a messy quiff, curtain bangs, or a layered cut. And if you always had longer hair, you might find that a medium length slick back or a classic taper suits you even more. You might be surprised at what you find. Lesson 13. If your style starts to fade during the day, your first thought might be to add more product, but that usually just builds up gunk and makes your hair heavy. I would recommend you to reactivate the product that is already in your hair. You can do that by lightly dampening your hands with water or using a spray bottle and then reshaping your hair. Most products are reworkable when slightly damp, and this will refresh the style without making it sticky or stiff. Another bad habit is constantly touching your hair throughout the day. Even if you like to restyle or check the shape, using your hands too often actually transfers oil and flattens the hair. Once your hairstyle is set, it is best to leave it alone unless there is a real need to fix it. Lesson number 14. Most guys complain that their hair got damaged even when they're using heat protectant, but it all depends on how exactly you're using it. Heat protectants only work if you let them dry before using heat tools. If you spray it on and immediately start blow drying or straightening, it won't give proper protection. Give it a minute or two to absorb into the hair. That way, it forms a shield that actually guards your hair from heat damage. Lesson number 15, and it took me a while to learn this. When you're going for a messy or textured hairstyle, I recommend using your fingers to style your hair. It works better than using a comb. Combs are great if you want a neat, polished, or classic look, but for messy styles, they can make your hair look too flat and take away the natural movement. Finger styling gives you more control over the shape and flow. You can lift certain parts, add volume where needed, and keep the relaxed, effortless look. It also helps your hair keep its texture instead of looking too perfect or stiff. So if you want that natural, slightly undone style, skip the comb comb and use your fingers to shape it the way you like. Lesson number 16, and this might as well relate to you. It is easy to get caught up in what is popular, but not every trend is going to work for you. I remember when the man bun was really popular, I decided to give it a try, but it just didn't suit me. I felt like I was trying too hard to fit in, and it showed. So it is very important to be careful with trends. Just because something is popular doesn't mean it is right for you. Instead of following the crowd, focus on what makes you feel confident and comfortable. After all, the best hairstyle is one that makes you feel like the best version of yourself. Doesn't matter how many hair advices I give to you, one thing you always need is a hair care routine. It doesn't matter if you have straight, wavy, curly, or coily hair. Watch this video next if you want to get a simple yet effective hair care routine for your hair.